It's been decades now since American workers had the power they do right this minute. Lots of jobs, not enough applicants. So in upstate New York, a push to organize. About 100 workers at 3 Starbucks stores in Buffalo are deciding whether to form a union. If organizers are successful, it could be the first Starbucks union anywhere in the U.S. Mail-in ballots due today, counting set to begin tomorrow. Previous attempts to unionize Starbucks stores in New York City and Philly have failed. But union organizers in Buffalo say this time they can get it done. NBC's Dasha Burns spent some time with them in the final days of this attempt to make history.
Jazz Brissack is a 24-year-old Starbucks barista.
So I'm one of the openers at my store, so getting up at 4:30 is pretty standard. Make sure everything's ready for the day, feed the cats, make sure they have water.
This young service worker and this coffee shop could make history this week. Jazz has become an unlikely leader of an effort to create the first unionized corporate Starbucks stores in the country. Employees at 3 Starbucks stores in the Buffalo area are now voting on whether or not to form a union.
This old Model T factory is now home to the Starbucks unionization effort here in Buffalo. And inside, the clock is ticking for these organizers.
Jazz and her fellow barista, 37-year-old Michelle Eisen, are here on their off hours to help quarterback the final moments of the campaign.
Well, Starbucks historically has been viewed as a really great place to work, a lot of benefits. Why does Starbucks need a union?
When I started with them in 2010, that's what I came into. I really do feel like they were that company. And in the last 4 or 5 years, those little kind of perks have slowly kind of been pulled away. Like we've seen the benefits packages, we've seen those costs go up and the benefits go down. And I've got partners who can't pay their rent and put groceries in their fridge at the same time.
Why now?
You're seeing people who were forced to work through some pretty intense, awful conditions and realizing that these corporations made billions of dollars off the backs of our labor in the middle of a global pandemic, and we've reaped little to no benefits from that.
After they started organizing, Jazz and Michelle say Starbucks flooded Buffalo area stores with managers from other parts of the country. A company spokesperson told NBC News the personnel are there independent of the union vote to help fill staffing gaps, improve how stores function, and help with training at request of employees.
We had support managers from all over the country. That's what Starbucks calls them, support managers. The quotes are necessary because they're not really here to support us. In fact, they're here solely to come into our store, make sure that there's not any time, that there's not management watching. We used to talk about the union at work. We were signing up people, talking about organizing as we were making drinks.
When did you start noticing these new people coming in, these support managers?
Within a week of us filing, I believe. Rosanne Williams, who is the president of Starbucks North America, she oversees, to the best of my knowledge, corporate Starbucks in North America, came into town, started holding active listening sessions. That's what they call them.
Had she been to town before?
I've never seen anyone higher than a regional director in Buffalo, let alone anyone to the level that she's at. She pops into stores whenever she feels like it, grabs a bucket of ice, takes out a trash bag.
A Starbucks spokesperson said, "We categorically deny any claims of surveillance, union busting, or anything of the sort," adding that it is normal for executives like Rosanne Williams to visit stores when they hear Starbucks partners, the company's term for employees, are unhappy. Back in the union war room, the effort that started among a few baristas has taken on a national significance. With ballots being counted Thursday, Michelle and Jazz are making big plans.
We win on Thursday. We have the first unionized Starbucks in the United States of America, and then we get Starbucks to the bargaining table and negotiate the best contract that the service industry has ever seen. I mean, that's the goal.
And Shep, Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have now thrown their support behind this movement. And we also talked to a longtime union organizer who says what this group of young people is doing for the service industry is akin to what their grandparents and their great-grandparents did for manufacturing in the 30s and 40s. And that had a significant and long legacy in the United States, Shep.